Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time I saw I Spit on Your Grave 2010. This is a horror thriller film directed by Stephen R. Monroe, uh, again from 2010, and it stars Sarah Butler, Jeff Branson, Tracy Walter, Andrew Howard, Chad Lindberg, Rodney Eastman, and Daniel Franzese. In this film, Jennifer is a writer working on a new novel and, needing to get out of the city to finish it, hires a riverside apartment in upstate New York to finish her book. Riverside apartment in upstate New York. I don't think that's pretty sure it's not New York, but finish her book, attracting the attention of a number of rowdy male locals. So, what did I think of I Spit on Your Grave 2010 or I Spit on Your Grave remake? I actually enjoyed this one. I actually liked it quite a bit. It has its issues for sure, but sorry if you can hear that. Um, it has its issues, but I do think it mostly gets what it's trying to do right rather than feeling exploitative in a really bad way. But let me get to the cast. Um, Sarah Butler plays Jennifer Hills. This she's replacing what's her freaking name? Camille Keaton from the original. Sarah Butler's an actress I've seen in a decent amount of indie titles. I saw her in Free Fall, which I didn't mind. I saw her in Nightmare Nurse, which was kind of funny. Uh, she was in something else, but I can't remember what it was. It was probably some random like TV show that she was in. But I think Sarah Butler does a pretty nice job playing this character. I think she's a big step up from Camille Keaton, given that she had some actual acting experience before this film. Um, and yeah, I think I do buy her doing these acts of revenge later in the film. I do think she fits that and plays both sides of the character very well. Jeff Branson plays John Johnny Miller, one of the main, one of the four men that rape her. Um, well, five. There's five of them. Uh, but I think he's definitely a lot better than Aaron Tabor in the original. Pretty much everybody in the original sucked, aside from Camille Keaton. But I think he's decently threatening. Tracy Walter plays Earl. He's not one of the rapists. He's this old man that just knows that she's in the house. He's a character actor. He does his thing. He's enjoyable to watch. Andrew Howard plays Sheriff Storch. He's one of the men. Again, another character actor that's been in quite a few things. He was in Limitless. He was in Truth or Dare. He was in Anna. He's been in a lot. He works here. Chad Lindberg plays Matthew. This character was mentally disabled or mentally retarded in the first one. Um, Here I think he plays that character a ton better because in the original it just felt like the actor was playing gay and it was very odd. And now that we have more of an understanding of mental disabilities, I think they've improved the performance a lot here. Uh, Rodney Eastman plays Andy. Rodney Eastman, people might will know from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. He does a pretty good job here as well. And Daniel Franzese as Stanley. Many people know him as in Mean Girls. He was Damien, the gay character. I liked him in that, and I like him here. One of the main things that this makes from the original is about the rape scene. And I'm going to be talking about the stuff again. If you know what the series is, you know what I'm going to talk about. And I do have to say spoilers because I actually want to talk about stuff that happens. And one big change that this film made from the original had a rape scene that took about 30 minutes. So up to a third of the film's running time is this big, long, disgusting, really unneeded rape scene. Here, I think it works a lot better. It's not so like I think they shoot it in a way that makes it feel more like a brutal act is taking place rather than just coldly showing it. I like how it's shot here. There's a bit of handheld cam because a character is recording it. And just I think they do a lot better here with showing this act as what it's supposed to be, which is brutality. And I like that they, instead of just doing straight like 30 minutes of rape, it's more so them psychologically torturing her in a way. And it's a bit more disturbing because it's not just, oh, look, it's just rape for the sake of rape. And again, the rape is still there. It's a rape revenge movie, but they do change it up so it's not just a repeat of what happened in the first, and I think they changed it for the better here. Another thing I think they changed for the better, the um the revenge itself. I think the revenge sequences are a lot more interesting here. In the original, again, spoilers, it was the mentally retarded character gets hanged, Johnny gets castrated, one of the guys gets an axe in the back and it's really poorly shot so you can barely tell what the hell happened, and another guy gets his legs chopped off by the propeller of the boat. So it's very bland. And I think what this film does better is kind of a torture thing where because she was tortured, she's torturing them back, eye for an eye. And again, I'm not here to make the argument of was she in the right? Yes, of course she was in the right. She was raped. She got revenge on the people. To be honest, I feel like that's how all of this stuff should go. I won't shed a tear for someone who raped someone ever. Um, but no, you've got interesting contraptions that she makes or like interesting ways of torturing them. There's the fat guy. She like puts fish hooks through his eyeball, through his, or not his eyeballs, through his eyelids, and then ties them behind a tree so his eyes are open. And then later, she like puts fish guts on his face, and then these crows come out of nowhere. And one thing I will say, the CGI is not great, but it was fine for what it needed to be. This movie was really not a high budget movie. It was $2 million budget. That's really the only part where this film is like, eh. And it's but these crows come and start like pecking at his face, and then one of them like they like peck out his eyeballs, and then I guess he bleeds to death, which is a pretty fucking gruesome fucking way to die, and it works and it's creepy. The one guy, Rodney Eastman's character, he's like suspended over this tub of water, and he's like he keeps like falling in and drowning, and then putting himself up with his legs. And then she puts lye into the bath, and then he has to like try to keep himself from going into it. It kind of turns into a Saw type thing. I mean, for him specifically, but uh, well, and the sheriff, but uh, he then like keeps falling in, and his face starts burning. Really good effects, I will give it that. Um, and he keeps like falling in until his face is just like unrecognizable. But yeah, the effects really are great here. In the original, it's mostly just red paint. There's not really effects. It's just, oh, there's red paint on the person whenever they're bleeding, which is a big thing back then. A lot of westerns and action movies back then, before they realized, oh yeah, corn syrup and food coloring and chocolate syrup. But Yeah, that was cool. Johnny gets his dick cut off and he just slowly bleeds to death like in the original. Um and then the sheriff, well, the mentally retarded guy, since he was kind of goaded into doing it, he's kind of given a test of not getting up, like he's in a chair asleep and the sheriff has a gun up his ass, like a shotgun stuck up his ass, which is like Jesus. And like if Matthew tries to get up, it'll shoot through his mouth and it'll shoot him in the chest, which it ends up doing. Again, really great fucking effects, really gnarly. Oh, and one thing I did want to mention, there are some references to the original that I didn't mind. Like the way that Matthew is like the way they did it was subtle enough and interesting enough in how they did it. It's just not just a replay, it's actually brought in an interesting way where Matthew is like laying on her lap. She's like getting him all comfy so that she can do this, telling him he didn't do anything wrong. He was forced to do it, which he still did it. He could have run away and called for help. And then she like puts a noose around his neck to like choke him out, kind of like how this same character in the original um was hung. And when Rodney Eastman's character, uh, Andy, was in the bath thing, she was like, "What was it you told me? Suck it, bitch." And that's a reference to at the end of the first film, where he like, I think his character was begging her for mercy, and then she said, "Suck it, bitch," which I wasn't a fan of how that line was delivered or done. But here it works, and she's drowning him as she says it. It's very interesting how they do that, and I actually did like it. Um, Also, the like horror feel of this film is so much better than in the original because the original, even in the first half, it felt like a weird like drama. Like it's her. It feels like a completely different film in the second half compared to the first half in the first in the original. And just how it's shot and everything, it's not shot like a horror movie, it's just shot like just a normal drama. And here, I think it's shot much better. Stephen Monroe definitely knows what he's doing and how to shoot a horror movie, and it's a lot creepier. It's got more, again, more of a horror feel, and I did like that. It's a good change. Um, and there's quite a few creepy moments, not just from the rapists, but from Sarah Butler's character, Jennifer. And again, I think it's very admirable how she tackles this role. It really works. Um, and I have always found her to be a decent actress. I'd like to see her star in something that really lets her act her ass off, but here I'd say this is her best performance yet. Um, but yeah, I was not expecting to like this remake as much as I did. I know I still have three movies left, but I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. But I still do have a couple issues with it. Um, I do kind of wish that the sheriff character got a bit more of a comeuppance. I kind of wish that there's a subplot involving the tape that the fat guy was recording, and uh, he was recording the rape, and apparently he like switched out the tape for a blank one, and the sheriff like destroyed the blank one. I kind of wish that played into things a bit more because the sheriff just kind of gets the tape and throws it into the fire once it gets sent to his house. I kind of wish that the family or that the mother had seen it or that his wife had seen it. And I don't know. I still like the revenge put against him, done against him, but I do just wish that there was a bit more of that karmic vengeance there. I think that could have been very interesting seeing how the wife reacts. Maybe even have the wife get the revenge on him or partially. I don't know, some crazy shit like that. There's some crazy shit in this movie already. Go ahead. Again, the CGI, there's the only CGI I realized because most of the effects are practical, and I'll give it that. Uh, are the crows that are pecking at the fat guy, and then the crows picking out the eyeball and the little bit of blood, which they cut away from pretty quick, but still, it was like, it doesn't look that great. But oh, the I forgot to say the score. The musical score from Corey Allen Jackson, because there wasn't a score in the original. I think the score here adds quite a bit. I'm usually a bit iffy on movies just not having a score at all, unless it actually fits. Like Terror on the Prairie, I think that fit that movie very well. Um, you agree, that's fine. But yeah, still overall, I did quite enjoy this. I can understand why there's a cult status surrounding this remake over the original. The original still has a cult status, but I can understand this cult status because this movie was creepy and I think in the right way. It didn't feel exploitative. It felt like a legitimate like horror movie. And yeah, I'm kind of curious about the sequel. The first sequel is directed by Stephen Monroe as well, and then the third isn't. But the third brings back Jennifer Hills, this version of Jennifer Hills, which I'm very curious about that. But yeah, um, that was my review of I Spit on Your Grave 2010. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.